Coca-Cola has become a worldwide renowned brand recognized in almost every country globally. Now, one might wonder, what is the recipe for Coca-Cola's international success? Thanks for joining us. We're Team 5 for Biz 432 and we'll be presenting today the recipe for Coca-Cola's international success and their strategies that they've used to become who they are today. So to give you a brief overview of what we'll be going over today, we're starting with an introduction into what Coca-Cola is and how they came to be who they are today. Next, we'll be going over their global business goals and what they aim to be, followed by the recruitment and staffing process, training and compensation processes, Coca-Cola's international human resource management practices, and finally, limitations and recommendations for their strategy. So without further ado, here's Nelson to walk you through an overview of the Coca-Cola Company.
Coca-Cola, also known as Coke, was created in May 1886 by Dr. John Pemberton. With a mystery ingredient, Coke became a popular beverage in the US. 3 years later, the secret formula was sold and was protected by the intellectual property regulation as a trade secret. In 1892, the Coca-Cola Company was founded by the American businessman with the mission to refresh the world and make a difference. Coca-Cola is a multinational enterprise with a headquarters located in Atlanta. The company contains worldwide 4 agent subsidiaries, ranging from Japan, China, Switzerland, Brazil, etc. Data shows that the Coca-Cola Company has employed around 62,600 workers and 300 bottling partners worldwide in 2018. For its local operation, the company has about 7,500 employees working at the headquarters. These large numbers of employees are divided into multiple departments within the company. For instance, there is a sales department that receives and handles complaints, and there is an equipment department that is responsible for installation or withdrawal of equipment. The company engaged in an extensive acquisition and has more than 500 brands worldwide. Some famous brands include Sprite, Fanta, and Minute Maid. To fit the needs of customers, the company has various bottle sizes of 2 liters, 1.25 liters, 600 ml, 300 ml, and aluminum cans of 375 ml. Coke has been criticized as an unhealthy beverage, and therefore, the company later adjusted its strategies by introducing non-alcoholic and non-carbonated beverages such as energy drinks and water. The Coca-Cola system is an aspect of differentiation. It replaces directly targeting customers through traditional distribution channels with paying attention to product manufacturing and marketing. Statistics shows that over the past 5 years, Coca-Cola's company's average profit margin and return on capital were 61.2% and 14.3% respectively. Although the operating income of the company has decreased steadily since 2012, net operating revenue of Coca-Cola had reached around $37 billion internationally. If we look at the worldwide revenue distribution, we can see that 32% of the company's revenue was generated in North America, followed by 19.9% in bottling investment and 17.3% in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Our team believes there were 2 reasons behind the decline. First is the force of competitor Pepsi. Pepsi have deprived the Coca-Cola company's market shares by 50 million in 2016. And the second reason could be global warming. Coca-Cola Company is the biggest plastic polluter in the world. Since consumers begins to criticize its action, the company started to emphasize the importance of environmental sustainability and incorporate this idea in today's hiring and selection processes. And more specifically, the main objective is to be globally known as a business that conduct business responsibly sustainability and ethically, and to accelerate sustainability growth to operate in tomorrow's world.
So now that we're a little bit more familiar with who Coca-Cola is, Leona will be taking you through the global business goals that Coca-Cola has set for themselves.
Thank you, Nelson. So when we're talking about the global business goal of Coca-Cola, the company has three business strategies: cost leadership, differentiation, and focus. Cost leadership means that the company can maintain a low price or a competitive price when competing with other competitors. Differentiation was made during the following process. First, the company investigates customers' needs and what they value the most of the product like Coca-Cola. Then, the company find out what Coca-Cola can bring to the customer and also what their competitors can bring to the customer. Finally, differentiation is made by enhancing the values of what the customer concerned the most based on constant innovation and always changing and investigating the taste of customer again and again. The last one is focus. Coca-Cola is able to narrow down and target the smallest number of competitors. This means that it has to compete with less like companies in the industry and save them a lot of money and resources. Kwok Keung Chan or Keung, the revenue growth management specialist in Coca-Cola Vietnam, mentions that this strategy applies to all the branches globally. So this is proved by the guiding business strategy in Vietnam is count the same thing as I just mentioned, which is to fulfill the needs of local customer by variation of brands, differentiation, and competitive price. The Coca-Cola Company is able to realign its business model to match the objective of the company. It can merge all of its strategy into its business units and decide how to best modify brands based on its three market positions: leaders, explorers, and challengers. Leaders are their premium brands that are already really successful in the market, and Coca-Cola will keep the same way of development for these brands. Explorers are smaller and experienced brands. They are testing for what customers are currently using and what customers really like so that they can develop their ways later. And finally, challengers. They were explorers, but they already earned a high profit and already find out what customers want. So the job of these brands is to develop what it currently have so that it can surpass the current leader in the industry. So finally, within the country, Coca-Cola's global business goal is different based on the element in PESTEL model. So PESTEL actually have 6 elements, but we will only talk about 5 of them, which are political, legal, economic, social, and technology. So political and legal can go together. So this means that the countries has different legislation and policies. So each government will have its different style in rules so that Coca-Cola will really need to adjust its strategy based on that. So for example, some countries will have a really high tax for soft drink products like Coca-Cola, and some countries will be really easy to enter when Coca-Cola enter as the foreign investors. The economic system can be different as well. So this is due to many factors such as the different GDP or the inflation in countries. So the more stable economic system can lead to a more stable growth of Coca-Cola. Another aspect is society. So different people in different countries, of course, will have their different habits, different lifestyle, and different way of consume anything. So for example, people in countries that more care about health issues can consume less products of Coca-Cola. So the company will really need to adjust its marketing style in order to persuade the customer to consume more of the products. Technology also connects directly to the number of new products. So the high level of technology ecosystem means that the company inside the industry can constantly make innovation. So a lot of new products gonna be introduced, and the level of competition in this country will be really high. An example is the Vietnamese business school, which is to make positive contributions to the country economy and support sustainable social development. So this goal keeps the sustainable idea, which is the same as the mission statement of Coca-Cola, but it makes more localization by focus on the country's aspect with the regional economy to make the economy more growth better.
Alright, so next we're going to talk about the recruitment process. The structuring of human resource functions varies in every country due to the different cultures and ways of doing business. When it comes to recruiting, every country has different preferences for what should be looked for in recruits. When analyzing the requirements of the position of a business analyst in North America, on the focus of the United States and Canada, and with Vietnam, differences in the job application are seen. In North America, the Coca-Cola Company has a strong emphasis on key values such as a culture of growth, curiosity, empowerment, progression instead of perfection, and inclusivity. However, in Vietnam, the company cares more about the skills the applicant may have, such as strong analytical skills and a good business acumen, and so they value business growth more. Vietnam does not display the same values that the company in North America emphasizes on when recruiting. Of course, when it comes to specific jobs, no matter the location, they will always share key responsibilities and requirements. Some of these requirements would be a similar educational background, needing optimism, and display of leadership. Alright, moving on. While the job descriptions may vary, the overall recruitment process of the company is quite consistent. They have one overall recruitment principle, which is to find the right person. The company posts open positions on the website that is available to everyone in the world and provides application tips to ensure the applicant has a good chance of being contacted for follow-up. The advice and tips they provide also ensure that the applicant is certain about applying for that particular job and that it fits their criteria. They also help with preparing for the interview through the STAR approach, where you have to first explain the situation or task, then explain the actions the applicant took, and finally explain what the result was. The company also obtains new talent through experienced hires, the Coca-Cola graduate program, and the university talent program. Experienced hires are basically people who have prior full-time experiences. The Coca-Cola graduate program offers jobs and experiences to top graduates to prepare them for key leadership positions in the future. Finally, the university talent program offers 10 weeks of paid internships in a variety of sections like IT, marketing, and finance. The company took up the phrase, being global, thinking local, which led them to adapt their strategies to the specifications of the country they are situated in. One example of adapting the recruitment process was the way they would reject applicants. In Pakistan and Afghanistan, the company would send a detailed letter explaining the rejection and even sending them a crate of Coke to ensure they continue to be customers. Overall, the company seeks to attract potential applicants by explaining that they are a local business on a global scale with a unique culture and strategy to grow from within. Alright, moving on to the actual process. As seen here, this chain shows the general process the applicants have to go through to obtain a job in Coca-Cola. It starts with an online application, then it moves on to a numerical, verbal, reasoning, and personality test, which will be conducted to see if the customer appears to have the knowledge and values they need. Then a screening will be done that involves an interview through a phone or video to have a more personal experience of the applicant. After that, the applicants will go through case studies, group discussions, presentations, and a psychometric test so as to know the full depth of the applicant's abilities. Lastly, there will be interviews involving the department and an HR manager, where negotiations would occur until finally the job is offered. Our interviewee had went through the same process with 2 layers of job interviews to make sure that he has the values that the company values. The interview part has been shown to differ slightly between the countries. Experience-wise, Vietnam has been said to have the most positive experience, while the US and Canada have mixed experiences, but the majority were positive, with Canada being at 72% and the US at 69%. In regards to obtaining interviews, in Vietnam it was common to obtain an interview through an employee referral or applying online. The US and Canada have the same two methods, but they also have recruiters as well. It is shown that Canada and the US most commonly obtain interviews through applying online. Finally, when it comes to the difficulty of these interviews, Canada has been said to be the easiest of the three countries with a score of 1.7 out of 5, while Vietnam was deemed the hardest out of 3, but is only ranked at a medium difficulty of a 3. Alright, next up, I'm now going to be speaking about the staffing process. So the company focuses on establishing an environment that inspires employees to reach maximum capability. They also ensure that a certain amount of jobs are available for younger people. Therefore, millennials comprise around 35% of employees, which make them one of the world's largest private sector employers of millennials. Leadership is decentralized within the company, making the staffing structure flatter and less of a hierarchy. As briefly mentioned in the recruitment, Coca-Cola Company sees itself as a multi-local enterprise because its global strategy has been to allow its businesses to have the freedom to follow local needs, laws, and cultures. Therefore, the company follows a polycentric strategy and staffs host country nationals, as they believe that local people are better equipped to do business at their home locations. The company is very serious about having high levels of diversity, even having executives from many places such as Turkey, Germany, and Ireland. They have also had a goal of getting half of their staff to be women. With that in mind, they launched a Global Women's Initiative program. Finally, moving on to the expatriate staff, they usually only send expatriates for either a technical requirement or individual development. For development, the company finds it's important for senior management to have international exposure, but they have also increasingly provided assignments to high-potential younger employees. To become part of the expatriate staff, they are required to know the company's values and be able to deliver their knowledge and expand their own knowledge while they are overseas. While the company does focus on each country's specifications, the company still provides some degree of control in spreading their goals and values. Therefore, their expatriates tend to act as agents of control. However, at the same time, they ensure that expatriates are used to develop and enhance the relationship between the two locations. However, the company doesn't offer repatriation training programs and simply inform them that they will have their job back once they return. Fortunately, they do provide support to expatriate families through training and advice.
Now that Diana has covered the recruitment and staffing processes, let's take a look into the training and compensation that Coca-Cola practices. Coca-Cola's training process utilizes social learning theory, which is a learning and development theory that argues people can learn new information and behavior by watching people. In its training programs, the Coca-Cola Company often uses shadowing and observational techniques for new hires, as it believes that receiving hands-on experience is invaluable to the learning process. The training strategies also help bridge the gap between the organization's needs and the customer's needs, as they emphasize the value of customer service and consumer value in its programs. Coca-Cola prides itself on its modeling process within its training program, as new employees learn their roles through observation and role-playing. Training and employee education are not to be overlooked at Coca-Cola, as they heavily emphasize employee development plans and leadership development. The company also closely monitors the progress and potential of the employees through various internal retention and talent identification programs, as well as employee performance monitoring. In addition to training employees in their roles, Coca-Cola also educates them on the importance of health and well-being as well, to ensure that employees are happy and engaged when working for the company. The training process is very comprehensive and diverse, as newly hired employees are taken through various stages of training. Training begins with company background and information, followed by team development and communication, wellness and health, stress management, diversity, and finally role-specific education. The various Coca-Cola compensation processes can be bucketed into four main groups, those being payout of wages and salary, time and attendance, employee separation, and paid parental leave. Coca-Cola's compensation process has one goal in mind: to keep the employees healthy and happy. Compensation ensures employees are administered their annual salaries and rewards in a smooth annual cycle, while receiving benefits from specific benefit programs and global programs, depending on the country of employment. Such benefits include medical, dental, paid time off for sick days, maternity and paternity leave and vacation, life, vision, and retirement funds. The time and attendance aspect of the compensation process records accurate time logs of employees' bankable worked hours, as well as any unscheduled absences. This ensures there are accurate and timely changes made to attendance information, which helps payroll keep track of employee data, work schedules, and leave balances. The company's payroll department analyzes employee separation when going within Coca-Cola's company's compensation process. When an employee is terminated from the company, it coordinates and ensures all compensation, benefits, and payroll-related activities are correct. It also ensures any remaining paychecks are administered in a timely manner. During this occurrence, the company supports another HR department called Employee Relations by completing severance pay calculations while educating and assisting managers where necessary with the separation process. Relating to compensation, Coca-Cola Company proudly announced that it has the most inclusive paid parental leave policy, as it goes beyond female employees who give birth and cover all parents, including fathers, as well as adoptive and foster parents. This policy is applicable towards non-unionized employees only and entitles them to 6 weeks off upon the arrival of their child. That means if they are unionized employees, maternity leave is applicable towards females, but males don't tend to get the same paternity leave found in the paid parental leave policy. However, this does highlight the inclusivity and compassionate environment that Coca-Cola Company has helped create and foster, as the company offers leave to anyone who fulfills the role of parent, regardless of gender or sexual orientation, as long as they remain non-unionized. The company tries to keep the same compensation benefits, which provide stability for Coca-Cola Company as an appealing employer. Now that we've looked at how Coca-Cola recruits, staffs, trains, and compensates their employees, let's look at how they can take each of these practices and how they've applied it into their international strategies.
The Coca-Cola Company has been able to establish an effective international human resource structure for its global development and to ensure its reaching of its business goals. The Coca-Cola Company can keep a balance between maintaining its core goals and adjusting to local values and needs. As mentioned, the Coca-Cola Company shows special care for the local operation in each country by analyzing their PESTEL model, as well as investigating citizens' needs. Schofield mentioned that HR managers in countries are able to adapt and apply strategies that fit the country's values. This is done through the Coca-Cola Company's international HR management system, providing a set of common goals and allowing some localization based on that grounds. The Coca-Cola Company has constantly included the development of its employees as a part of its values and has been ensuring that they receive an inspiring work environment, as previously mentioned, by its staffing processes. This focuses on developing its employees and encouraging them to reach to their full potential, which is what makes Coca-Cola one of the top 50 places employees like to work. Additionally, it focused on the importance of diversity and focused hiring locals in other countries instead of depending primarily on expatriates has been shown to be successful, as the company has now locations in over 200 countries. An employee from the Coca-Cola Company in Vietnam that was interviewed also had mentioned that he believes the Coca-Cola Company has an effective international human resources. Lastly, the Coca-Cola Company's effectiveness has been achieved due to establish a branding model as multi-local enterprise instead of simply being a global enterprise. This correlates well with its processes of adapting strategies to the specification of the local, as the Coca-Cola Company believes that locals are the best suited in doing business in their home country, all the while sending expatriates when necessary.
And finally, after learning everything that we've gone through today, what are some recommendations as well as limitations on where Coca-Cola is lacking and how they can improve their operations moving forward?
As the Coca-Cola Company is one of the largest plastic polluters in the world, the company is focused on improving its weakness by paying attention to sustainable manufacturing. This importance of this issue is stated in the business goals and mission statement, as well as its efforts to be environmentally friendly. However, having the correct goal and strategy is never enough. The Coca-Cola Company will need all members from its global team to understand that the value and show a willingness to make change. We recommend that the Coca-Cola Company starts employing employees with the same mindset. This can be done through including environmental concerns as one of the key characteristics on the job description and building some interview questions to find out the importance of the value to the individual. With this being implemented, the Coca-Cola Company will have a strong team that strives for environment and will be willing to incorporate that with the company to make sustainable moves. According to a Vietnamese-based Coca-Cola Company employee, the new hires are trained using an extreme method of on-the-job training, where new employees are given nothing more than a brief orientation before going off on their own. While this approach may be effective to save money due to training costs, the company will notice a decrease in employee satisfaction and therefore productivity. By implementing a standardized training company-wide, the Coca-Cola Company can ensure a certain level of quality across all its products. This being said, the company should also take into account differentiations between countries to create a further training program addressing that country's specific needs. When comparing a job description for the same position in Canada and Vietnam, key responsibilities about the role and requirements needed were highlighted. Both countries would list out the required education background, amount of experience needed, as well as traits that would consider an asset. The key difference between the job postings that was in a Canadian posting include the key value of the company, such as curiosity and growth. Key information on job postings should be similar across the company to attract and hire similar talent in different countries. The Coca-Cola Company should modify its expatriate package to be more suitable for everyone. According to Schofield, it currently provides a lot of benefits for expatriate programs, but is limited to when the expatriate is male. This is shown by the compensation money for the expense of women and children, but few listed for husbands. In the modern world, where women have more opportunities to be engaged in the workforce, having a female expatriate is something that Coca-Cola should take into account. Therefore, having the benefits for both genders and clearly communicating them with the potential expatriate is a good way to support gender equality and increase diversity for the company. In addition, the Coca-Cola Company will also need to develop a more detailed repatriation program. In the present, the plans only mentioned that the returner will be secured a job when they get back, but there's no evidence that the Coca-Cola Company will support other aspects to help the person emerge back into the original culture. There is a lot of potential problems that the repatriate can face, such as culture shock, children's education, and partner's career. The repatriation program should cover and offer support for all these difficulties in order to have a smooth transition back to their home country.
And so, we've finally reached the end of our Coca-Cola presentation. Thank you so much for listening, and stay safe.